Alrighty guys, CNC3 here, finally doing a face-to-face video once again. Um, as you guys have noticed, ever since I put out my Kaido theory last year, about like his origins and his interactions with Vegapunk, supposed interactions with Vegapunk, or well, it's not really supposed anymore because latest chapter just confirmed that yes, Kaido or Vegapunk did experiment on Kaido, which personally I'm very happy that I kind of got that right, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to say that twice, but yeah, this is gonna be a One Piece video. All my One Piece 3 videos, I've done with video editing software, right? And the reason I did this was because I watched the first of all, One Piece 3 crafting is I love doing it, right? And everyone out there has their own theories or thoughts, and it's just part of the mystique of the series, like part of the interest of the series, right? One of the many reasons for the interest in the series of One Piece. It's like trying to figure out what's gonna happen, or what the One Piece is, and like or what this character, what Kizaru's backstory, all these different sort of questions, and theory crafting plays into that. You want to be able to, of course, it feels good to get those questions right, but at the same time, even if you don't get it right, it's just it's just really fun to like formulate theories about these things, right? So anyway, what does this have to do with this video? So this is a one piece. This isn't really going to be a theory. This is going to be more so a question that's kind of been. Do I really want to call this a discussion? I'm not sure. But I wouldn't say it's a theory. I'm not gonna call this theory because I don't have a like my own answer, if you will. I'd rather call this like a discussion, and I'm gonna try it a little differently now. When I started to make videos back in 2012 and 2013, about anything, I never did video editing, and I remember I did a One Piece. I think it was by the time like Dressrosa had started, and it was with the channel named Best Reviews. I actually just went back and watched it, and I don't know if he's still on YouTube, but if he is and he's watching this, uh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I hope you're doing well. But I had formed my own theory about like the 20 kingdoms and the Void Century and the Ancient Kingdom, and all these different things. I didn't watch it in full because I was using the yellow lighting, and now obviously I don't have that yellow lighting, so my videos look a little better now than they did like 8 years ago, right? So, but even though I think I've put out three pretty good theory videos. I don't know if they're right or not. Parts of them have been right, and I'm more than happy with that. Like I said, just being right about something, like even if you're not fully 100% right, just being right about something, whether it was Kaido or Vegapunk experimenting on Kaido, or Kaido having some ties with ancient giants, things like that. Just being right about like even a part of a theory, it just makes me feel really good, right? But I was doing those with video editing because I thought it was important to show you guys where I was coming from, and I felt that if I am doing it with video editing, right? And I know we're already 3 minutes into this, and I should try to speed this up as best as I can, but I want to explain this as best as I can to you guys, right? Uh, I felt that if I was doing video editing, I could show you guys like panels, and I kind of liked the idea of like interspersing music in, because I felt like just as a viewer watching the video, I think it would just make it more like you guys would be more into it and more like you would like it more, right? So that's why I went full on like video editing for One Piece theories. But I know some people, and before I continue, I I got that from watching other One Piece theorists too, like Marco One Piece theorist or Alpha Too Late 17, because they would do the same thing, right? They would put text and panels and music over it, and it just made the video that much more immersive, if you will. But I know some One Piece theories that I've been watching, like Arthur, Library of O'Hara, like theorists, I should say, Arthur or Joe Theories, BDA Law, or whoever, even King of Lightning, whoever, right? They do it with the face to face sort of thing, and that's what I used to do. That's what I did for like my beginning One Piece theory video, right? No, I think it has like what 7,000 likes on, or 7,000 views on YouTube now or something like that. So, um, I the reason I'm going to bring it up here now, even though this is not a theory, it's a discussion, is if you have any, what would, just let me know, what would you guys, what format do you guys like more? Do you guys like me doing the straight on video editing, or do you guys like me doing the face to face? And even in some videos, like for my DBZ, when I was talking about like Dragon Ball and the underrated factor of horror and fear in Dragon Ball, I interspersed or I mixed me a face to face me with the camera, and I edited images into that video, right? So if you guys want to mix, or if you guys want me face to face, or if you guys want the straight up text, just let me know. So that's what this whole first 5.5 minutes is on. But yeah, this anyway. So with that out of the way, this One Piece discussion, I want to. There's been something that's been bugging my mind, right? And this can go like a myriad of different ways, right? I mean, that's just how One Piece is sometimes. Like you want to try and focus on one subject, but then when you try to research it a little more, or you try to support your argument, it can, or your theory, not even argue. I don't even like to call it an argument. I just say theory or what you believe. It can lead into like so many other topics. So this might do that, right? But there was one question that I think that really needs to be addressed, and that is the decision by Dragon and the revolutionaries to attack the world nobles at the Reverie. Um, as you guys may have noticed, I started rereading One Piece, and after I had finished rereading One Piece, that was what enabled me to start doing my theory videos, the ones that I was doing with video editing, right? That's how I could go on and try to like go to chapter 100, because I was taking notes for each chapter, right? Like what I noticed, or if this particular thing looked interesting, or whatever it was, right? So and I think people, like when you do a theory, like if you can support it with evidence, um, and it's convincing evidence, that just makes the theory all the more better. You can't just say like, I mean, you can. It's a free country. No one's stopping you. But I think the best theories are the ones that are supported the best, right? If you can give them convincing enough criteria, then that would make the theory even better. So I certainly have theories now, right? That I have like in the works, if you will. I don't even want to say in the works. I have theories that are um, that I am thinking about, right? But I don't want to make that a video unless I have more information, and maybe it's just not the right time to make that video because there may be something revealed much later, right? Um, but yeah, but anyway, I wanted to talk about, and I'm using this video not just as a means to discuss this question that's been bugging me, but I also want you guys to let me know if you guys want me to do a face to face video, or you guys want the straight up video editing for not even just One Piece theories, just One Piece discussions in general. Personally, I like doing like the One Piece editing. Editing can be a bitch after sometimes. I mean, just that latest one I did for Dragon Ball for the Buu arc, like that took forever. That took 4 months. I started that shit. Not that I was working on it every day, but like just editing like an hour long close video is like it took a lot out of me, right? And usually with One Piece theories, I like to keep them as concise as possible. But yeah, so that's the purpose of this, right? I want to talk about this question and just let me know what format you guys prefer: face to face, or the video editing, or a mix of both. Um, or what types of theories, or what types of formatting and theories that you watch on YouTube do you like the best? Do you like Joy Boy theories where he puts like a picture and then he puts like music and then he talks over it? Like whatever it is, just let me know so that I can try to make this the best. I can give it to you guys the best way that I can. I still really like what I've been doing though with my theories, which is like text, music, and then panels. I noticed that like when I watch them myself on YouTube, like some of the panels they're small, right? So you can't really read the text. So that's something that I've definitely taken note of, and I try to improve upon that. But anyway, yeah, this is 9 minutes. I've taken so long to get into this whole discussion. Anyway, one of the questions that, like I said, that has been bugging me is like why Dragon decided to attack, or the revolutionaries as a whole decided that this year's Reverie was the time to attack the world nobles. And the reason I this kind of or what should I say, has it's bugging me, is because I don't see the angle from what made Dragon think this, or what made the revolutionaries as a whole, if it wasn't Dragon's decision alone. What was the logic, or the impetus, or the reasoning behind why this year's Reverie was meant to attack them, right? Or was meant to attack the world nobles. Like, what was that reasoning? What was that logic? And I think it's a very important question. Not just for the sake of like theory crafting, but I even feel that for the sake of the quality of writing, like, oh, this is good writing or this is bad writing. I think, at least from what I've seen so far, and from what I've theorized so far, I think it's a very important question. Not a like a whole like fucking like like this makes or breaks the quality of One Piece, that sort of thing. I'm not saying that, but it's just I think it's a question that needs to be addressed. Because if it was just one of if it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, now it's time, oh, like it just feels right to do this, I don't think that's a sufficient enough or a good enough explanation. And the reason I say this is because, first of, if you look at all the scenes with Dragon, right, and you consider Kuma, like when he sent the Straw Hats to different areas after Sabodi, right? If you try to correlate those two things, I think you can see where I'm coming from. So, where do I want to start off with this? Okay, so if you've, I'm trying to think of like the best way to start this. So if you're caught up to One Piece, or you've recently reread One Piece, or you love theory crafting as much as I do, um, that dialogue from Lost Flashback when he's speaking with Corazon, right, as a kid, where they said that the D's and the world nobles are opposites, right? That they are the opposites of one another. They're the natural enemies of each other, right? If you consider that, and you look at like all the different D's in history, right? Actually, no, that's not really good. See, this is the problem, right? Like when I try to have this discussion, like it can lead into so many things, and maybe this is sometimes like why I like to do like editing for my videos, like cut it down to like a digestible format, but so that I can make you guys like understand as clearly as I can. But okay, instead of starting with that, let's start with this, right? Remember Dragon, when he said that, I think, what was it, after Thriller Bark maybe? Yeah, it was after Thriller Bark, I think. After Kuma had his little whole scenario and situation with Zoro when he took Luffy's pain. I think Dragon was shown after that, and then you see him. He's on Baltigo, right, which was once the former base of the Revolutionaries, and he comes out. And then he's like, the day that we will meet to Luffy, it's coming, or it's approaching. The dialogue was something along those lines, right? That the day that they will meet, that will happen soon, and obviously it won't, because it takes a couple more years, and provided there's not another time skip in One Piece, it's going to happen sometime in the future after Wano, right? Within this 1 year or 1 week, however much time has passed in One Piece, right? So if you take that, and then you take the consideration of like what the revolutionaries are, like what's their purpose and goal, it is to overthrow the world nobles, right? And it's important that you say the world nobles rather than the world government, because the world, or the celestial dragons, or nobles, whatever term that you want to use, because if you go back to the scene, and I probably should have like saved this or opened this up on a tab on internet or on Google Chrome, but if you go to the scene where the commanders meet with Dragon on, I think it's Kambaka Kingdom, Ivankov's base. If you go to that scene, I think it was Koala or Sabo. One of those two said that they're going to the Reverie now to overthrow the world nobles. It's not to overthrow the world government in general. It's specifically to get to the world nobles, right? So if that is their goal, and you think about what Dragon said about Luffy, like the day that we will meet, it will soon approach and it will soon come. And you think about that, and now you think about Corazon's dialogue of how the D's and the world nobles are natural enemies. This indicates to me, at least, that at least before the whole attack on the Reverie by the revolutionaries happened, this indicates to me that Dragon meeting Luffy, that should have happened first, because either they are D's, or whatever the case may be, right? Well, they are D's, so I'm just going to use that as my reasoning. it indicates to me that Dragon and Luffy should have met before an attack on the world nobles should have even been planned, right? And again, this is tying in a lot of other stuff. If you go to Whitebeard's death, right? Remember, right before he died, and he said One Piece is real and all that. And you take Whitebeard's death in conjunction with the Odin flashback, right? You know that the Will of D, the Void Sentry, the ancient weapons, and One Piece as a treasure, these four things are all intertwined. They all are connected. And we didn't need Odin's flashback to explicitly tell us that, because if you go to Whitebeard's flashback, you remember he was at that Sakura place drinking sake with Roger, and they were speaking about or Gold Rod or he was saying that his name was actually Gold D Roger, and he was saying that he told Whitebeard what the meaning of the D was, right? And then he was saying like this is a tale that took place long ago, right? It's and that would indicate because it's long ago, Void Century stuff, and then this remembering of what Roger told him made him address Sengoku and the world government about how finding One Piece will implicate the whole world into a war. So right there you have the Will of D and One Piece, at the very least, being linked because of Whitebeard's death, that whole scene. Then when you get to Odin's flashback, and you can probably make when you think about the Void Sentry and poneglyphs and how the ancient weapons are described on poneglyphs, you can make that link too. And then when you go, and then the Rio poneglyph, how it's 9 poneglyphs and all this stuff, right? And how it makes you find Laugh Tale. So those things, right? And you from the nine poneglyphs making up the Rio poneglyph or the real poneglyph. I don't know. Is it Rio or real? I don't know. But if you take that discussion by Big Mom's the chicken man, what's his name, Baron Tamago, when he said that, and you take all those different scenes together, and then you compare it to the Odin flashback when, the famous Roger just laughed scene, that all four of those things are connected, right? So why am I bringing this up? It's because if Dragon opposes the world nobles, right, he must know something about maybe not so much the Void Sentry, but something that happened, right? And again, I think Oda is gonna have to explain this a little like later about like how people know stuff if they can't read the poneglyphs, or how people have knowledge of the past history if they can't read, or if they don't have the voice of all things. Maybe Dragon has the voice of all things like how Roger did, and he's able to read poneglyphs that way, right? That could be an interesting thing. But if you take all these things together, right, and then so everything that I've just said, right, if you remember after the time skip, when the crew was on their way to Fishman Island, remember how Frankie was the first, and that was the first to reach the Sunny, and then he saw Kuma guarding it for them, and then he was also explaining to them, like on their way, as they were diving deep into the ocean and trying to reach Fishman Island, he was saying how Kuma might have intentionally sent each of them to a specific island, intentionally, right? So he sent Luffy to the Kuja Island. I don't know why specifically the Kuja Island. Maybe because he knew that Rayleigh was there and that Rayleigh would train him, right? And but remember, Kuma is a revolutionary. He is a revolutionary. So I think Kuma being a revolutionary and intentionally doing this, sending all these people to all these different islands, to sending the crew members to different islands intentionally, this indicates that he knows something about like fate and the future and the fight between the D's and the Celestial Dragons, right? That war that's going to happen once One Piece is found. So when you consider all these things, right, there is one particular crew member whose quote unquote training, or whose quote unquote like increase in their specific, because not all of them are fighters, right? Whose particular increase in their ability, whatever it is that they do, it hasn't been expressed yet. And that crew member is Robin. It's Robin. Because, think about it. Luffy got, he got Gear 4 and he's trained, he got Haki. Zoro got Haki, he's become a better swordsman. Sanji's learned different kicking techniques and he increased his Haki. Usopp got better ammo. Nami became a better navigator, right? But how does Robin increase her own knowledge, right? Think about like what Robin is supposed to be. She's the archaeologist, right? Chopper became a better doctor. Frankie became a better shipwright. Brooke became a better musician. But how does Robin become a better archaeologist? You just have to learn more, right? But therein is the problem, right? If you think about it, because ultimately, like her primary focus in the story is her being able to translate the poneglyphs. So when all this like void sentry and all this stuff is revealed, she's going to be at the center of it all, right? She's going to be extremely key to all that, right? So how do you increase that ability to translate and to figure out what happened so long ago, or what the One Piece or whatever it is, right? Anything to do with any of those four plot lines, the ancient weapons, the Will of D, One Piece, or the Void Century, any one of those four. How do you increase that, right? Or how do you train to increase that, right? How do you train to increase that? And so that's a question that's just kind of like been bugging me. Obviously, you can just go and you can like read, you can find different poneglyphs and just do that. But I don't think it's gonna take. If that was all that Robin's quote unquote experience training for 2 years, if that's all that it consisted of, I think that might be. I don't want to say underwhelming because it's the fucking poneglyph, but if that's all it took, it's the process needs to be a little more richer and denser. She has to do more, right? To increase her capability as an archaeologist to figure all this stuff out. And that that is exactly why I think Kuma sent Robin to Tequila Wolf, because he knew, himself being a revolutionary, that Robin meeting Dragon on Baltigo, their shared knowledge of any of those four plot lines, that would be an added bonus, or that would be an advantage to them when the world government is taken down, right? It would just be a pooling of knowledge. They would pool all their knowledge together, right? So why am I bringing all this stuff up, right? So if Roger explaining to Whitebeard what the D meant, right, made him think about One Piece, right? It made Whitebeard explain One Piece's existence. If Odin's flashback tells us that all four of the things, those four major plot lines, are all interconnected, right? And if we take Rocinante's dialogue about how the D's and the world nobles are natural enemies, and we take which one am I forgetting? And we're taking like what Kuma's actions, like his action of intentionally sending each crew member to a specific island for the sake of getting stronger and training, right? This would indicate to me that Dragon knows he needs the power of the D's. He knows something about Luffy, and again, Roger's flashback kind of indicates to us that Luffy is in some way the reincarnation of Joy Boy, right? He knows that he needs these things to even fight against the world government, right? He needs those things to take down the world government. And so that and that's the part that's confusing me, right? Because everything so far has been indicating that Dragon knows what he's doing, right? Dragon knows what he's doing. Dragon knows that, he knows something about the past, presumably through the voice of all things, like how Roger did, right? He met with Robin because of her ability to read the poneglyphs and her understanding of history. And if you know the Void Century, then you can know, and not that she knows the Void Century, but if you know something about the Void Century, if you can read the poneglyphs, and the poneglyphs tell the Void Century, and the ancient weapons are discussed in there, and all four of those things are interconnected, then that discovery of One Piece, all those things, is going to culminate in that fight with the World Nobles. So he knows that he needs these things first before he makes any sort of attempt on the World Nobles. And so that's what this video is about. That's where the confusion is coming from, on my side. Why did he or the commanders in general initiate the attack on the World Nobles at the Reverie? Because it clearly was not time. It clearly wasn't time. And the only answer that I can think of, right, that can somewhat make sense, is Jesus Burgess and the Blackbeard Pirates attacking Baltigo. That's the only thing that I can think of, right? That would be the only sort of yeah, that would be the only. Maybe they were forced to, they were pushed into urgency because of something that Blackbeard did. Maybe Blackbeard has found something or discovered something. And again, remember my Blackbeard theory video about how similar he is to Zebek. Just as Roger is to Luffy, Zebek is to Blackbeard. And so maybe that's the only thing that I can think of. Maybe that's why he something to do with Jesus Burgess being on Baltigo, and maybe Dragon met Blackbeard, seeing Blackbeard, maybe meeting face to face, whatever it was, pushed his plans, right, to not wait for Luffy and to instead attack the world nobles by themselves. Now, again, this is not a theory. This is just a discussion, right? Just looking like at all the different things that we've been told in the manga, and I just think it's like a very important question. I just think it's something that has to be explained like properly, because I feel like if it doesn't, then it makes the decision to do that not very wise. And I don't think that Oda would want to write Dragon as an unwise character. So yeah. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much this video. It's like it's 3:43 in the morning. I can't sleep anyway. I'm gonna take a melatonin and knock my ass out so that I can wake up and actually work. But I just wanted to put this out. Tell me what you guys think, and also let me know what kind of formatting you would guys like to see for my One Piece theory videos. I would really appreciate that a lot. But yeah, take care, guys. Good night.